downtown
Hey.
Omaha.
Hey.
I forgot. I was
We
gonna
gotta say
try.
hey.
I was gonna try the whole just ignoring the fact that there's an audience thing again.
Well,
but
since we don't have the microphone going, while it's doing the intro, we don't have our normal
that's true. The
that,
rhythm's off.
start. Yeah,
It's
we,
already
we have an
destroyed.
actual start point. I don't know what to do besides say hey.
I don't really like having an actual start point.
Yeah,
That's
I enjoyed our start during the setup of the old vegetables.
yeah.
days. That was
it'd
fun.
always be like we talk for 2 or 3 minutes. You'd be like, wait, is the mic on?
Yeah, or you say something to the mic, and it's like our mic check was on the show. It was, yeah,
I thought that was fun. There was
It
charm
was.
in that.
It was.
I missed the charm.
yeah. You
I-
missed the hot box.
I missed not one.
I mean, not the hot box, but the spirit of the hot box.
The hot
What
box
the hot box
spirit.
represents.
Yes. The spirituality of the hot
the
box
concept of
is
the hot
still
box.
with me. I think
Yeah.
I haven't exercised those demons yet. They're still
Wow.
in me.
So it's been a long week since we've been on the show.
It's been a long week since we've
Yeah.
done. It's been I mean
Very long 7 days.
so many things have happened. Some things that nothing we were together for. I don't think we didn't see each other.
No,
every
not
week.
at all
We
this
almost
week.
did
Yeah.
twice, but we didn't quite.
Yeah.
Um,
I was okay. So Thursday, when you guys were like, "Oh, let's go to Hopcat, 130 beers," right? I'm like, "Yeah," Then
it's a
I
beautiful place.
thought I had a movie going on.
Yeah, you're gonna go see The
And so-
Shining.
yeah, I texted her. I'm like, "Hey, we're seeing The Shining tonight, right?" And she's like, "No, it's on Saturday." I'm like, "Oh crap!" So then I'm gonna go to text you, like, "Hey, I can come to Hopcat." And then my dad's like, "Hey, it's my birthday. Come over for crab legs." I'm like, "Oh, that's what I had going on today." Not,
So you had an
not
excuse.
sushi.
though.
Yeah, I did have an actual excuse. I would have come otherwise, but yeah, I was stuck.
She just told your dad come down to Hopcat.
Yeah, he would have loved that place.
We had two seats.
Oh man, one for me and one for my dad.
Yeah.
Apparently.
we were ready. It's like
Yeah.
it's like saving a seat
Who
at the
didn't
table.
show up?
Oh no!
Oh,
we-
it is-
in the car, I mean, on the way down to Lincoln.
I was like, you have two empty seats.
Plenty
at
of
the
room for
table.
you. Yeah, we left a glass of wine for Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Or Elijah. I mean,
Yeah, for nitro.
or Ezekiel and Elijah. There were two. I mean, both the E Bible guys could show up if they wanted to.
There's probably more than just those two. Bible guys.
Alicia.
Alicia. Yeah, I don't know my Bible names anymore.
I don't know.
I kind of just dropped that from my memory.
Well, it's not really relevant.
Yeah, I don't need it anymore.
Remember Deborah,
Yeah.
Yom
Yeah.
Kippur,
Yes.
important things.
Yeah.
Well, Hopcat was fun, but there's not really a fun story. I don't think
Okay.
about it. Just
Nothing.
it's a cool place.
Yeah.
The night before that, though, I went to see Kurt Anderson and John Alter.
Yes.
Kurt Anderson hosts Studio 360 on NPR on the weekends, and he's from Omaha.
Woo.
Sometimes he's in Omaha, sometimes he's in New York.
I actually have an NPR story.
You have an NPR
I
story?
do.
Well, I'm going to stop my story.
No,
then.
you-
tell me let's hear your NPR story.
So I've been turning NPR in the morning to listen on my drive to work.
Oh man,
and
I'm influencing everybody.
It's a
here.
great way to start your day.
NPR needs to
And-
pay us for ads. I mean,
and
how
like-
many people
oh,
have turned
man.
on to NPR?
The first thing I hear today is, let me look at my phone real quick to make sure I get it right because it's so funny.
You're listening on a Sunday, so you're gonna get weird
Yeah,
stuff.
Sunday
probably.
morning, and
okay.
it's
Yeah,
like
not
they were
ideal.
like, so we had someone on our show yesterday give some really bad advice. We kind of wanted to clarify, and I'm like, oh god, okay, so this is gonna be great. So I kept it going, and she's like, yeah, we had this musician on the show, and he recommended that if you're hungry and you need a snack, take a small tin like an Altoids tin and bake a cake in it using your car battery. And I guess I don't know. We kind of realize now that that's probably not the best
They just
advice.
let it go, though.
Yeah,
First time, so
And I
sounds
guess
like,
they're like apparently he was joking with us, and you shouldn't actually try this. And I'm like, wow, really?
I like
It's
this idea that he's saying it like ironically. They're not picking up on it.
No, like,
And
that's
then
a great idea.
Apparently,
It's
after the show's over, he's like, you're not actually, you know that's a bad idea, right? And you're like, oh.
yeah.
NPR people aren't
They
practical
put
enough
their
to
their
know these
Altoid
things.
tins back in their pocket, and they're just like, oh. I heard that, and I was like, well,
They're not street
Yeah.
smart enough. These NPR people, you can't be facetious about things like that.
I just want to see the person with a bunch of wires, like with an Altoids tin, like just trying to bake a cake.
I'd love to see like all things considered hosts all
That's who
trying
it
to
was,
make a
yeah,
cake. That's hilarious. My story though. So Kurt Anderson, he's a funny guy. He's a smart guy. He's written a few books, and he's from Omaha. So he gets called back to Omaha to do various things. Like he did a Q&A with the cast in Nebraska a few years ago.
Okay.
And my main problem with him is that he's very when he gets to his points, they're very good, but it takes him a very long time to get to his points. A lot of the time, it's like he'll be reading, Well, okay,
So reading his cue cards and
that
he's
actually
sidetracked.
that's
and
what my story is
okay.
here. So I see him come out with John Alter, the news host, and he comes out and he's got his whole introduction written out.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to get to the point finally, and it's probably going to be way better as he just reads what he's written. So he's like, Yeah, tonight I'm here with
Christopher Walken.
with NBC News host Jonathan. It's like that the whole time.
That's bad. I mean,
Come on. Then when he gets to the end of the sentence and you think about the whole sentence, you're like, that was a great sentence.
Oh,
That was done very well.
Like in between all the
But-
spaces and the
Yeah.
ums.
Why do we have to go through like 40 rounds of revisions to hear that sentence that you already wrote down? So that irritates me. But he's not the worst guy for this stuff. But it's a little pet peeve.
Was it good though? What'd you learn? Anything exciting?
Actually, yeah, it was fun because it was basically it's John Alter and Kurt Anderson just talking. Basically, it was kind of just talking about politics and talking about politics and movies, and so kind of just an open forum conversation about the two, where the overlap is, and the crowd that was there was a bunch of elderly people who,
Of course.
only one of them fell trying
Really?
to go to the
Only
bathroom.
one?
Well, they have to come. It's in the theater, so like they have to walk all the way up the stairs
Oh,
because
no.
all the rows up front are reserved.
Okay.
So only one fell. Yeah. Well, if Film Streams was having a hard night with it, I think. So-
Really? Like were people
Well,
just
so-
falling all over the place?
No,
or what?
that specifically, but like with the whole setup. So first of all, the mics kept not working, and so
Oh.
they had some guy running up with different mics. And when they would talk about specific movies, they had I don't know, probably like 5 to 10 clips from movies about that they wanted to talk about.
Okay.
And so generally, when that happens, like they'll turn the lights off and project the scene on there. And Film Streams, I don't know if they've just never done that before or what exactly the issue was, because it kept going from one clip and then keep going to the next clip. Like someone just wasn't hitting pause. The lights would turn off while they were
It
talking.
shouldn't be that
it wouldn't turn
hard. That's
on.
like two buttons. Like
RJ
pause.
had to run over and
No.
talk to him about it. So I don't know what was going on. But
RJ's pissed because they're making her look bad.
oh
It's
yeah,
like,
seriously. I mean, you get this guy coming over, Kurt Anderson. Apparently, RJ used to work for WNYC, so
Interesting.
she probably knows all the NPR people.
Yeah.
She's just the coolest person.
She probably tried to bake a cake with a car battery.
I mean, she does run a nonprofit theater in Omaha, Nebraska. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that says about the practicality.
Are
of-
they actually
of the-
nonprofit?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I mean, she still makes money off of it, though.
Nonprofit doesn't mean you don't make money.
I know, but still.
do,
it's
do you know what
misleading.
nonprofit is?
No, but it means the company as a whole doesn't make a profit, right? It's like
It's not a profit-driven company, so basically they want to
that's just why.
they make their lines.
That's
like,
not
they
like
need-
a lie, but it's like misleading in so many ways.
It may not be the best word for what it is, no. So, but they make nonprofit doesn't mean that they book a loss every year.
Well, they just got to break even.
They have to break even, and they rely on donations for a lot of the money too. Like about half of the.
I
working
think
budget.
it's like the other way around. It's like you say that you're nonprofit so you can rely on donations, not you rely on donations so you're.
You know, I'm not going to say.
I
that
think you
half
just
of
go
it,
for it backwards. It's like
I'm going off of what the definition is, not necessarily what the operating definition
All right,
is. So, well, I mean, they have to post their financials every year, so I look at them every year
Oh, wow.
to kind of see
Just
how
because.
I want to see how they're doing.
Yeah. See what your competition's like. There's actually a theater for sale on like 13th Street. It's in like kind of terrible area, but I mean it's
I don't
has
know.
potential.
Maybe what 13th and what?
I don't even know. Like Martha.
Okay,
Yeah. It's like south of like way south of like Leavenworth and whatnot.
interesting.
Significantly south. Like it's
Southern.
It's kind of like close to where there's that bridge. Like if you take L Street like all the way down to like the Iowa, there's that bridge.
Okay.
Goes across. It's kind of
How many screens?
I don't know. I didn't look, but it was just like it's like
Well,
now, it's like now showing for sale, and I'm like, oh okay. Like,
I love that movie.
yeah.
Well, anyway, so with this, they get about half their money from donations if you look online, which I think is interesting.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot.
And well, this is something that I've never quite understood. But part of what Film Streams, my understanding is that Film Streams got a lot of the initial money to, like the initial investments to actually exist through this promise that it is enriching the culture of North Omaha. And I've never understood if that's
Not
happening.
even really like in North O. They're in
It's
downtown.
like just north of
like,
the market,
Yeah,
but
it's not North O though.
not really North O. And I feel like it's self-serving to a lot of these, like fancy schmancy intellectual type people. Like
Yeah.
I like to go watch NPR hosts do
Yeah.
discussions there. I don't know exactly.
Well, and like we tried to get our film there, and they're like, oh, $1,000 some, right? Like it's like, oof.
$1,000 some for a matinee on a weekday.
Yeah, and it's like that's not. I don't know. That's not for the starving artist in Omaha, Nebraska, North O, who's trying to get his movie out there.
But we're not North O either.
I know. Well, exactly. It's not even for us.
It's not even
And
for
we're,
Omaha.
we're,
Yeah,
we're not
yeah.
even like North O poor people. Like,
No.
we're yeah. It's
So there's a million things if you want to be nitpicky about Film Streams. There probably are legitimate questions that I don't know the answers. Maybe there are answers. I don't know. Whatever. But I forget where I was going with that. So anyway, so Kurt Anderson's there. It's a lot of old people. They're having some trouble kind of get everything going, but it was a fun conversation.
Yeah.
Fun talks. It was a very progressive audience.
Any participating like audience participation? You just kind of sit and watch or what?
The main one that you would find was anytime that someone said something against Trump, it'd get a huge applause. Everyone, all these old people are going crazy. It was a very left leaning audience.
Okay.
There was some time for questions at the end, so some
Nice.
questions.
Right.
But I don't know if there were any like spectacular questions or anything that noteworthy. But it was just a fun conversation. Basically, it's like if you were to listen to that hour on NPR, you'd be satisfied. It's not like beyond that. I don't know that it was this crazy evening that like I must go to sort of thing. So I did that, and then I went to Hopcat the night after that.
Yes,
That was
Hopcat.
fun. Fun.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun in the sun.
So that was my week. Did anything else interesting happen for you?
Who?
Other than the movie you saw, we're gonna get to that, but
No.
save that.
I bought a new reptile, but she's not on the show tonight. So
Well,
that's about
yeah.
it. I mean,
None of your reptiles have been on the show.
no, I guess they haven't.
Better fix that.
Yeah, I'll bring one tomorrow. Not tomorrow, like show wise tomorrow, but like movie
Oh, are we meeting Allison in Houston?
possibly. Yeah,
Yeah.
they said they can do like pretty much any like evening. So,
Okay.
I don't know. I never set a specific time, but I've got like days that I can pull up. I guess. Do you want to do this on the show right now? I mean,
Well,
let's
we probably shouldn't.
Let's set up
but,
some business meetings.
we gotta
while
finish
we're
our
in the
first
middle of a
act here.
podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, I forgot we do acts. I
We'll
always
have a
forget that we're
break, so
segmented, yeah.
we'll figure that out.
No, I
So
saw
na-
Suicide Squad, but we'll talk about that when we come back from the break.
Speaking of what we were just talking about, though, so Naomi Jones.
Yes, Naomi Jones.
What's our?
It's like 17, 14 seconds or something like
What's
that.
your goal for the?
I want to get to 25 by the end
Tuesday?
Of like, yeah, but not by Tuesday. I can try. Shit, I'll have to stay up all night tonight and tomorrow.
No, that's fine. Yeah,
But I mean, I can probably get. I'm going
25 is a good goal.
I'm going for 25 by like Friday or so.
I'm perfectly on board with that.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So there's your Naomi Jones update, everybody.
Oh yeah.
The Green on Green script is.
Do you want me to do some like constructive criticism and whatnot on there? How do you want to do this?
Yeah,
Like, is that okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, yeah.
It's at the point where it is the first fully complete draft. I've done various revisions on aspects of it,
Awesome.
but I'm still going to be kind of looking to revise anyway. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, if you have ideas,
All right.
it's at a point where this is the best time to change things because we'll start to sort
Because
of
we haven't done anything.
yeah, we'll start to like
So-
concretize plans
Yeah.
pretty soon here. So if we're going to cut anything out or add anything,
Cool beans.
now's the time to figure that out.
Are you think we should get some new talent? Like, should we do some more casting calls? Because that was kind of fun.
That's
Like,
going to
we
be
found some good people.
We need to figure that out. I've sent to one potential lead actress.
Yeah. I think if we have Megan and Leah possibly put a recommendation out for us, we can get some really, really good people.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Because Megan seems to think pretty highly of our work and how we do things. So
We need to basically you'll read the script and then we'll make just a list of everybody and kind of start talking through all that.
Okay.
Is my plan, and we can film that too if we want.
oh yeah, we could do that right here. Even.
That's what we're doing.
yeah,
right
we'll do
now.
that next time.
This
Yeah,
is-
this is kind of fun though.
This
I
is
mean,
the rough. This is the pilot, the backdoor pilot.
So,
Make Chris laugh.
the backdoor pilot.
Vegetable lasagna, the backdoor pilots. So we're gonna go to a break. We'll come back, talk Suicide Squad.
Oh
figure out
yeah,
some things.
give you my wonderfully glowing review for Suicide Squad. Right. If I can pause this.
I'm just gonna scratch my nose,
Hurry
so it
up.
gives us some visual excitement. Flyover Country, and then take over with Suicide Squad. Oh, we're on. We're on. Sorry,
Yeah, we're on.
I was
Yeah.
planning stuff.
No, I mean it was
I was
after
doing
you
some
started
planning.
saying that. It's okay.
My one update before we get into Suicide Squad, or Suicide Squat, as Chris
as my
affectionately called it
autocorrect
this morning,
decides to call it. Yeah.
is I met with a local director named Jim Fields last week. He's made a couple different movies. He started with some documentaries, one about Nebraska football. You having trouble over there? That didn't help that much, it looks like. I'm like so in focus.
I know.
Look at Howard.
If I get over here, it's better. Like I just gotta kind of lean towards you a little bit.
Move over. Okay.
Hey. Okay.
All right. Well,
that worked.
So anyway,
No, yeah.
so Jim Fields, he's directed a few documentaries, and then he made the movie Flyover Country a few years ago. He's currently,
Okay.
I think he's just finishing
Oh, I thought
filming.
this was, like, new.
This was a couple years ago, Flyover Country,
Yeah.
and then he's got a new one that he is. I think he just finished filming called Life After X.
Okay.
which comes out next year, presumably. So we'll actually try to get a trailer for that in front of Naomi Jones when that plays, and kind of
Okay.
keep on the radar with
Cool,
that and
dude.
everything. But so Flyover Country, which I think is just a fantastic title. The very first time I ever heard about that movie, actually, or came across it, was I loved the title Flyover Country, and I was thinking like, I feel like I can make something called Flyover Country because that seems to fit. It's like my general
Seems like, yeah, that's your
sensibilities.
kind of title.
And so I looked it up and I came across this and see he had made one. So, but it's a sort of comedy drama thing. It's a murky genre line. I feel like it doesn't really fall into one or the other
Okay.
so much, but it's available on Amazon Video. So if you want to check that out, he's another local filmmaker, very nice guy. So we've got that, and then he's got a couple documentaries if you want to look at that, and also we will probably do some updates when his new one has his trailer and everything. So.
Yeah.
Jim Fields, nice guy, cool guy.
Cool. I didn't see the movie, so I have nothing to contribute, really. I haven't
It did remind me a
Wasn't
little
me.
bit, even though Stuck on Neil came afterwards.
Yeah.
It had some similarities.
Very similar.
Reminded not I don't know, very similar, but similar enough. There were some overlaps. So
Yeah.
interesting that those are the two. You get like horror movies, and then these ones kind of there's some similarities there between the genres we have, or that they have. I don't know that ours fit into either one really.
I don't think so.
I don't know, like, does adaptation fit into any Nebraska genre? I mean, coming of age, I guess, is a thing, but
Yeah, I guess, kind of. I mean, it doesn't really focus on that, though, so it's kind of hard to...
Naomi Jones is probably a good breath of
Coming of age?
fresh air sense of- No, it's
A romantic comedy?
It's our coming of age is the Bildungsroman, and I think the artist's journey to self-realization is like
Okay.
the Künstlerroman.
I don't know these French words.
That's,
like,
that's the word I think we should go with,
Okay.
because it's like an artist coming into her own
Age. No.
age. No, I don't into her art. I don't know, but anyway,
I know what you mean.
yeah. It's, that's my little.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's talk. We've talked about art. Let's talk about
Suicide
superhero movies. Yeah.
Squad. Oh man, where do I start? I guess is the hard part. I'm trying to think.
How about we start with, this is the third movie in the DC cinematic universe.
I guess it is, yeah. Cause
We have Man of Steel,
The other Batmans don't count.
Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad.
Yep.
And so up to this point,
It takes place right after Batman vs Superman, but it's kind of like they only say like give that hint like a couple seconds afterwards
okay,
because they're like, oh, Superman's dead. Who's gonna help us now?
and they decide that violent criminals.
Yes.
Help them with what? What's the problem that they're trying to solve?
Their main goal is they're worried that say like another person like Superman comes around who's gonna stop him. Like what's gonna happen if there's someone like Superman who isn't on our side essentially?
But they have a bunch of people who aren't on their side.
And they make them on their side. Apparently, like they make it sound like these people have like never been around before, but they're like everywhere all of a sudden. And most
So
like
superhero, like
yeah,
with weird powers,
the
and whatnot.
metahumans or whatever they call them.
Oh, is that what they're called?
That's what they're
Okay,
called now.
okay.
And it's really clunky and like they're I don't know, they're not even really like superheroes. You got a guy who shoots good. You have Harley Quinn, who's supposed to be like an acrobat psychologist kind of thing, but she doesn't do any.
What is her use in like a team of?
She
they're
hits
basically like assassins.
she hits
almost,
like
right?
one person with a baseball bat. It's kind of like her thing.
But you don't need a.
They're not even people. We'll get to that in a second.
You don't need a psychologist
Yeah.
to hit someone with
No.
a baseball bat.
No,
That's my
not
point.
at all. She has no special contribution to anything besides wearing short shorts, and that's pretty much all she's there for in the movie. Who else is there? There's Jai Courtney, who plays Captain Boomerang.
What does Captain Boomerang do?
He throws boomerangs.
Is Jack Courtney as terrible as Jack Courtney always is?
I don't know. He was almost okay because he's like Australian. He's Australian. He hits people with boomerangs, and then and then there's an Asian girl named Katana who slices people with a sword.
So
Yeah,
these are not very
like, it's-
super.
No one is actually very super. Like I guess the sword person, like I guess the sword eats people's souls, and whoever had the sword killed her husband, so her husband's inside the sword, so she took the
So
sword.
she kills people.
So
and
she
takes their
kills.
souls?
Yeah, so she kills people, and then they're stuck in the sword with her husband, I guess.
Does he want?
And then no, he probably doesn't. No,
Maybe he
he's
just wants
stuck
to
with
sit on the
he's really stuck with the people who killed him inside his own sword, and then it doesn't make any sense. And she's not even a bad guy. Like she's a good guy, like on the good person side. And she's like, yeah, I'm here to keep you all in line with this other guy who I don't remember who the actor was.
Okay.
And then
So what's the conflict? Where do things fall
The
apart?
conflict is
Oh wait,
there's
what are they making the team for though?
they
Do they have a
They
specific?
it seems like it's kind of coincidental that this all happens at the same time. Essentially, it's like they're trying to assemble this team, and there's another girl on the team who her whole thing is she's like a spelunker, and she was cave diving somewhere in like South America, and she comes across some doll, and she breaks it, and she gets possessed by an old Mayan god.
Oh no!
And then the god takes over, and then like wakes up her brother, who's just like a bigger version of her, but he's in like a weird like body like suit thing, but I don't know. And then she's like, I'm gonna build a machine to take over the world, and that's her whole thing. And she makes out with people, and they turn into like these weird blue monster soldier things, and that's who they're fighting. Like, it's really weird because they take all these people who are supposed to be the bad guys, and they take them out of any situation where it matters if you're actually a bad guy or a good guy. So like, it shows up, like the whole like demon thing shows up, and then the city's evacuated in like 20 minutes. Like, there's literally nobody left in the city. They're going through the city this whole movie, and they literally see nobody else.
That's probably a
and it's really weird. Like, it's like
that they got from Man of Steel.
Yeah, like there's absolutely nobody there. It's completely empty.
That's the new thing.
It's really weird.
Empty cities.
Like, they're wandering around an empty city that like a literal day ago was full of people. It's like a big
A
metropolis.
little day ago,
like a half day. Like, they do such a bad job of showing like progression of time throughout this movie. Like, it feels like it all takes place in an afternoon, but like it's been like a couple days, I guess.
Well,
and then, like, I feel like there's another person on the team I forgot. But
there's
no. Crocodile Man, yeah. They literally he's only important for one part where there's like, oh, there's this thing underwater. Can you go get it? And it's like at the end of the movie.
So he's got gills or something.
He's just a crocodile.
He can hold his breath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
why is he part crocodile?
He just is.
Okay.
Like, as far as I remember, that's all it was. He's just part crocodile.
All right.
Like, oh, we found him like this, and it's like, oh, okay. And it's
but essentially, just like the concept of Suicide Squad is meant to be like the Bizarro Justice League, isn't it?
No.
Like assembling a team of people that all need to come fight together for whatever reason.
You'd think that like what they were going to do, which I think would have been a way to set everything up. Which I guess we're gonna have a segment on this later if you want to do that. Then where you're doing like, oh, what would you do better, or you just want me to do that?
Whatever.
Okay. Well,
merge it all.
anyways. Like, you'd think what they're doing is that they'd have all these people. The whole Suicide Squad thing is that, they're the team set up by the good guys, and they put a little thing in their neck that's going to blow up if they don't do what they say.
All right.
And so they're like, okay, well, I guess we'll help you out. And that's about
okay,
it.
I guess.
Like, yeah, well, I guess we're here. We got nothing else better to do, which is literally what Harley Quinn said. She's like, I don't have anything else going on. And it's like, okay, whatever. Yeah.
Is Margot Robbie any good?
No, she puts on this really bad like Boston accent throughout the whole thing. Or I could try to think of like what kind of accent it's supposed to be. It's just really bad though. Like there's
not a lot of people that do a great Boston accent, I think.
And like the whole her and Joker thing comes off terribly. Like it's
oh yeah, Jared Leto's in it.
Yeah, he shows up in like 3 scenes.
And there's all that like the media attention to like he keeps sending people used condoms and dead rats and stuff.
Yeah, he's not even like that. It's like the Joker in this movie like hangs out at strip clubs. And he like hoes out Harley Quinn, and like I don't know.
This is a very lame Joker.
Yeah, he's super lame. Like he doesn't do anything like remotely Jokery. Like he shows up at the end and breaks her back out of prison. By
I saw that
running in with a machine gun, and that's about it.
Die Antwoord guy or whatever.
Yeah, he's all pissed off because they copied his style.
Like, hey, that's my style.
It's like, those are my tattoos. It's like yeah. None of it really worked at all. Like there's not even any like fun action sequences. All the action sequences are just Will Smith shooting people. Yeah,
it's just Will.
It's just Will Forget shooting people with a gun. Yeah, no, that's it. That's all it is. Is Will Smith runs around shooting everybody, and that's like the action in the movie. And it's
so it's kind of like he's like the Hawkeye of the DC, right? Because he can shoot.
Yeah, he just shoots good.
But
that's it.
But they make him the star. Or at least
he's pretty much the star.
Is this worse than an Avengers movie?
Yes.
Oh,
so much
low
worse.
blow. Okay.
Like it is awful. Like what I was hoping that they do is they take you got like your squad of bad guys. They help out the good guys or whatever. Then they bust their own way out and do their own thing, right?
That makes sense.
And then you have the Justice League movie where it's both of them against each other. Because now you got your group of bad guys and you got your group of good guys. You think you'd make them freaking fight, because that's the whole point.
But then you end up with the exact setup they already had for Batman versus Superman.
I know, but it's bigger now.
And then they're like all of their moms answer Martha.
It's literally just Civil War again. But
Martha.
But it's supposed to be good guy versus bad guy, and it's like I don't know. Like they're like, oh, we're the bad guys, and they literally say that 5 or 6 times. Like
I've heard that.
We're the bad guys. We're the bad guys. And Will Smith always says, "I'm going to get you there. I'm just going to get you there." Like he says it like 20 times.
What's that even mean?
I don't know.
Like he's going to shoot him there?
No, there's Mr. Oh, there's the Pyro. That's who the other one was.
The Pyro?
The fiery Mexican.
Oh, but he dies.
Yes.
Okay. Spoilers.
Yeah, he blows up.
All right.
Like, I don't
So
know.
he's not a very good pyro.
No, he's like
He's not like
they,
X-Men pyro.
they,
where
like,
you
take,
can control
they
fire.
take like a block of C4 and they throw it at like the bad brother and that blows him up. And I guess that works, but nothing else they tried worked against him. But I mean, if you throw a bomb close enough to him, it'll blow anything up, I guess. And then you have your big magical god who resorts to a fist fight with all of them and somehow still loses. Like you'd think if you're fighting a god, like it'd be a little bit more intimidating than like she just kind of scratches at you a little bit.
I think if anything, the original Ghostbusters might have the best confrontation with a god.
Oh yeah, okay.
Zool
Yeah.
stuff. It's hilarious, but it's actually creative and it works. I think on a lot of levels.
Mm-hmm.
So I give it to them for that.
I don't know.
I've heard criticisms that this movie does turn into Ghostbusters the remake, and I don't know what happens in Ghostbusters the remake, but
I haven't watched
just
it
some
either.
weird thing happened in the final act that
I don't know. The final
Changes
act
pace.
takes place. Like I guess what's her name just is make like the evil witch is just kind of making a machine in the
what's
middle
the
of
machine gonna do?
in the world. Bring upon the
Why
darkness.
what does she do
And
in the world?
they're trying to do the whole existential horror thing. Like all the monsters are weird, faceless, like blue dudes, and then like she's like, "I'm gonna bring upon this machine."
Oh, God, it's kinda
like yeah,
like
it's supposed to
Cthulhu.
be like beyond what you can comprehend, kind of a thing. But then they just punch her to death, and it's
But
about
they
it.
need a machine for that?
She makes a machine, but the machine's just like all this weird things like swirling around doing
That's
stuff.
so lame.
And like she can do that, but she can't throw one of these blocks at Will Smith and kill him or Harley Quinn or something. But I mean, it's like it makes no sense.
So what's Cthulhu gonna do now?
Which one? Katana? Cthulhu?
Cthulhu, the old god.
Oh, the old god. She's
Yeah.
gone, man. They
Aw.
stab her right in the heart.
All right. Well,
Like yeah, they like pull her heart out and they stab it because
that sounds like a better villain than Doomsday or whatever. And
yeah, like it should have been cool. I mean, if you think like if you have like a villain who's a god, like you do something interesting with it, but you don't. Like she literally just like tries to punch him
well,
out.
you could actually. I know that it's never gonna happen in the Suicide Squad. Sewer Squad.
Sewer Squad.
Sewer Quad. Well, it's never gonna happen in that movie, but Batman versus Superman and probably Man of Steel, even though I never saw it, I feel like they're almost overly obsessed with this idea of what is the existential crisis that comes along with the realization that you are a god,
Yeah,
which is kind of an interesting thing. I've never felt like there's much.
but none of these
payoff.
people are one. Like it's
But
the
you
weird
do have
part.
one in
Like
this one.
yeah, but the villain is. But
What I'm saying though is like
Oh, okay.
you could do a cool sort of like juxtaposition with the buildup of the Justice League by you have that God crisis going on with Superman. You have the eventual building of the Justice League. This should be just the mirror image of that, where you have
Yeah.
the bad
evil
God in
god
this
coming
kind,
out from them.
a different answer to the same existential question, and then also the building of a team for some united purpose. I feel like there is potential to do something interesting with all that.
Yeah, but they won't ever.
No,
do
I
anything
know.
interesting. Yeah, no, and it's like yeah. Batman shows up a few times.
What's Batman doing in all this?
He's the one who threw them all in jail, essentially.
Okay.
And there's one part where the evil witch is. Someone else pointed this out to me.
Wicked
And
Witch.
the Wicked Witch, the Wicked Witch of the West, of the South, I guess. She's from South America, I think. And she's all like showing them, "Oh, come join me! Look at all the beautiful things I can give you." And everyone's getting what they want. And I guess what Will Smith deeply wants is to shoot Batman, but
Oh, okay.
the weird thing here is that he's in all this for his daughter. That's like the only reason.
He just wants his kids
He
back.
just wants his kids back. But apparently that's not the one thing he actually wants in life, is to have his kid be safe and happy. The one,
wants
thing,
to shoot
the
Ben
one thing
Affleck.
he wants is to shoot Ben Affleck.
All right.
And like when Ben Affleck comes to arrest him, like his daughter's there at the time, he like catches Will Smith off guard when he's with his daughter, and his daughter like jumps in front of the gun and says he can't shoot Batman, and so he's like, "No, I guess I'll go in." It's, yeah. So he wants to shoot Batman because I guess because it's his fault that he's a hitman.
Ben Affleck's Batman does not have the suit that can handle getting shot like Christian Bale's Batman did.
No, can it not? I don't know.
No, he's just got like fabric.
No, Ben Affleck had RoboSuit even. I feel like he can take more than just bullets. So he does all sorts of
A
stuff.
lot of the time, he's just wearing fabric.
He's just wearing a button up.
It's
He's
just
got his
spandex.
jeans on.
Yeah,
It's like- I think Ben Affleck works as Batman though. I think he fits like what you think a Batman looks
it's
like.
like
I don't know.
cartoon Batman. It's not like
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for more because that's what
I
like
know.
Harley Quinn's voice is like cartoon Harley Quinn, and like there's the annoying like flashbacks where she's wearing the weird like jester outfit.
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, right.
'Cause that character, I think that character comes from the cartoon show.
Yeah, and, like,
I don't think
comic
she's
books
even
and
like
whatnot.
originally from the comic.
Oh,
books.
isn't she not?
I think
I
I
don't
heard
know.
that. I don't know my comic.
It's
things,
weird.
so. It's weird how many things about comic books that now I know just because that's all
Yeah.
we have in pop culture.
That's all there is now, and they're not even that good. Like they're all like a lot of the stuff they pull in comic books plot wise doesn't work when you try to put it on the screen because you realize how dumb it is. And
Yeah,
it's like,
I think you're probably more forgiving when you're reading just like a little comic book because you're like whatever. It's just
you
a
have that
comic book.
one little frame to base your like judgment on, not like everything actually happening and you're watching it. You know,
$200 million in 2 hours is a different commitment. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. This movie, I thought it looked dumb.
I tried to warn people and they didn't believe me.
Yeah, how'd you
And
end
then
up going to see it? Even?
I went with Chelsea, and even she was like, "That was terrible." Like she was so excited. She's been looking forward to this movie for like a year.
Does she like Batman versus Superman?
No, she thought it was all right.
Yeah,
she was just in this because it's like, oh well, the bad guy is angsty, and
angsty.
Yeah, it's
Batman versus Superman.
There is so much teenager angst in this movie that it's so
that's the DC thing. I think
it's like abusive relationships with Harley Quinn and. Yeah, Joker, and he's like jump into this vat of acid for me, and she does it, and then he jumps in after her, and they make out in the acid, and it's like it's really
that's
dumb.
just
it's so dumb. It's like
I feel like that's the kind of thing that people thought was cool like 15 years ago.
Yeah, like and it's set up like a music video, and it's it's really dumb.
Like if this movie was made in 2002, it might have felt like it
would have been new and exciting and fresh and
cultural need. But it seems like angst, if anything, is the recurring theme in the DCU.
Yeah.
Like, Batman was so angsty, Superman was so angsty, Luthor was so angsty. They're all angsty. Lois was angsty. Like, Batman vs. Superman was 2.5 hours of angst with occasional fights.
Yeah. At least the fighting in Batman vs. Superman was alright. It was better than it was
It's
Suicide
just like
Squad.
Throw everyone through walls and stuff. It just got dumb. Like, how many walls did they break here?
Yeah. Except for the last part. The last part was like insanely boring. Batman vs. Superman. I stopped paying attention. I pulled out my phone and I just sat and waited for it to be over. And I look up and I'm like, oh, Superman got stabbed.
Yeah, I went to the bathroom.
I went back and I'm like,
I took a leisurely stroll to the bathroom, looked longingly at the door, thought, I'm probably not going to miss anything here.
You're dreading the walk back to the theater, you know? It's like
I come back and Superman's like in space or something. Like, okay, something
what the heck happened now?
Well, then what's next? So they have, I think, Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
And then Justice League already.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird that people don't really like these DC movies, but they keep having Zack Snyder be in charge of the whole
keep
thing?
making money. Like
people
don't like them, but they still go to see them.
They make huge openings, and then they kind of die off.
Do you know how much they probably made off of this, like, products and whatnot? Like,
merchandising
is
probably
insane.
But when you make another $1 billion in the box office on top of what it made and merchandising, like Marvel does, I think that's when everyone's really happy.
I think Marvel just has a broader audience now that they're not doing the whole super angsty thing. But at the same time, it's kind of annoying when you go see a Marvel movie. You know, there's absolutely no urgency or sense of stakes because you know nothing's actually going to happen.
As much as Batman versus Superman, Civil War was much harder to sit through.
Oh yeah, like Civil War was just like painfully stupid.
Oh god, yeah. I got 10 minutes in. I was just like, there's like hours more of this.
I liked when Paul Rudd showed up though. That was fun. I mean, I like Paul Rudd.
Thanks for thinking of me.
He's like, hey, yeah, glad I can make it. You know, it's like I'm in a big fight. It's like,
at least he's having fun.
Yeah, see, I thought he was probably the one saving part of that movie for me. He's like when the thing like he's like, oh, it's flying into me, and he's like flipping out. I'm like, oh, Paul Rudd. You know,
it's
just,
like, I just didn't like the general conflict of that movie. I thought was terribly done.
We're gonna sprint at each other in an airport.
Yeah, you know, I can't. I'm not going to read this thing, but I disagree with it on principle, even though it's meaningless and whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. But then the post-credit sequence is Ben Affleck's he's talking to the person who set up the whole Suicide Squad thing, and he's like, you should have just called me. Me and my friends will do it for free.
That's so stupid.
I know. They literally like canceled out like the entire movie with Ben Affleck being like, "Why'd you even bother with this?" You know, it's like I'm already working on it. You know, and it's.
Do you think that was even? I mean, what are the odds that that's Warner Brothers saying, "Hey, we know this movie didn't go so well, but the real one's coming up. So sorry you sat through that, but guess what? The good one's around the corner."
Right, supposedly.
What are the odds that that's just Warner Brothers putting an apology for?
I don't know how much better Justice League is going to be with like Khal Drogo as Aquaman and like
Khal Drogo,
and it's like, I'm still not optimistic.
I still just want him to have the goofy samurai who has to hit everyone as they walk in the doorway. That's my hope. Like, you know really if they're superhuman or not, with how they deal with that.
They had a trailer for the what is it, Magnificent Seven, whatever. The remake, and like I lean over, I'm like, this is like a remake of a western that's a like a Western version of a Japanese samurai
Yeah.
movie, and she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I know, right? It's like, yeah.
Well, I mean that plot. The whole like cool new contemporary Western genre. I don't think has ever really existed.
No, I don't know. I think True Grit was okay.
True Grit's not really a contemporary Western though. It's
No,
kind of
it's
like a
old school
classical
Western.
Yeah,
It's an old new Western.
it's a good movie, but it's definitely not bringing anything groundbreaking to the table.
No.
And I think it's just like a marketing fantasy.
Yeah, I mean,
that
it's
this genre even exists.
It's just like a style that people think that people cling to.
But nobody really likes it. Nobody really cares.
No, all the people who liked westerns are already dead. Like it's,
Or-
I mean,
or
Clint
they're
Eastwood's
old.
going to be in the movie theater.
Yeah,
That's
like,
about it.
If you want to go see a Clint Eastwood movie, you don't want to see a revolutionary new Western movie.
You don't want HD.
No.
It's like, yeah, I mean, come
I
on.
want blurry film.
Yeah, you want people like go, oh, as they fall off like the top of the moon and they got shot. It's like that's what you go for.
Like that
And
little scene in Hail Caesar when he's filming the Western.
I watched that movie again recently. It's
It's
so
so
great.
good.
Yeah, I love it.
Fantastic
Oh,
movie.
man.
I love that movie.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny.
That and The Lobster are my two tops
yeah,
of the year
Lobster.
by far.
I need to get that. It's on Blu-ray now.
Yeah, I want to watch it.
I saw it like the day after we talked about it. Like
So
I saw
good.
it. Oh man, yeah.
So let's take another break.
Okay.
We'll come back. We'll talk about some studio stuff and fixing the
Ooh.
movie.
Yes. Like things. Okay.
So he's not. He's someone who I think, from what I understand, he'll film every conceivable angle
Yeah.
for everything, and because he doesn't really know what he wants until he's putting it all together, and so he gets as much footage as he possibly can of everything. So like 70, 80 takes is very normal for someone like him.
That's so many though. Like,
But it's-
Jesus Christ.
I mean, you have like your I don't know, like Noah Baumbach does a lot of takes too, but for him it'll be like the same basic setup, but he wants something really specific,
Yeah.
and they're gonna redo it all
Gotta
until
get
it's exactly what he
exact,
wants.
yeah.
Fincher, it seems like it's like I don't quite know what I want, so I'm just
He'll
gonna do
know
a million
when
different
he'll know
ways.
when he sees it.
Yeah.
And just keep doing it.
And then he's like, I don't know if I got it, so let's do 40 more.
Yeah, there's something about like Brad Pitt being all pissed off. He's like, hey, he's like, delete the last 30 takes. I'm like, oh my god, like that's just like.
You have to though.
I know.
You can't do that, man.
I guess we throw away every take that's not the one that we keep. So I mean, it's whatever. But still,
I mean,
it's
sometimes
like,
we'll
that'd just be
combine, but-
frustrating to hear. Like when you just
Well-
did like 30 takes, like I delete all those. It's like,
Adaptation. We pretty much got rid of the first 20 takes. Almost
yeah,
every
you had to
single-
hammer it out every single time until you got it right.
When we got I would only really look at the last 4 or 5 even when I was
Yeah.
putting it together, because I was like these.
Yeah, when I was going through, like, yeah.
Naomi
Just
Jones wasn't
skip
so
to
much
the-
the case. We didn't do a ton of takes.
There's like the odd in between one that's actually like the good take here and there, and it
Yeah.
throws me off. I'm like, oh crap.
'Cause- Well, everyone was very prepared on Naomi Jones.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that.
No, 'cause I feel like I came less prepared because I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'll be able to figure out as no one knows anything, and then we put it all together. But no, the whole cast was completely ready to go right away.
Oh. So what have we got for the part 3 of our?
Well, let's talk Rogue One, because we just watched the trailer for that.
Yes, we just watched the trailer for Star Wars Rogue One.
And I have to say, I'm not a Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
I think that looks a lot more interesting than anything I saw in the JJ one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like
Uh,
I don't know. It sounds like it's supposed to be like sci-fi heisty kind of thing, isn't it? Cause
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm cool with
But I
that.
think that sounds neat. Yeah.
It looks very well shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not kind of that glossy JJ. It's more of like the messy.
Yeah.
Also more like George Lucas.
Which is what Star Wars is supposed to be like super clean. You know what I mean? It's
Right,
kind of
yeah.
that hacked together like style. Everything looks like it's supposed to kind of work. And it's like
I'm
I think it looks
impressed by
good.
that. I don't
I'll
know if it's going to
definitely
be
go
that
see
great
it.
of a movie. Well, the problem is, it's when the people talk. Then you're like,
Yeah.
because you were like, oh, it's Gareth Edwards, so yeah, he's great at this stuff. And then there's some stupid little part that wasn't actually that funny. He was maybe supposed to be funny, and I was like, yeah, that's Gareth Edwards. It looks great, cool atmosphere.
Right.
But why are there humans
Stop
that
talking.
need to talk? And do
That's why they
things?
put the robot in there. That's what he's for. They use the text-to-speech thing on your laptop.
If they had like an emotionless robot instead of Aaron Taylor Johnson and Godzilla,
That would be great.
at least you would forgive the fact.
Or just put Bryan Cranston instead.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it would have been more fun if it wasn't a soldier who's trying to fight Godzilla.
If
you
it was
know what I mean? It's
anyone
just-
with any semblance of charisma,
yeah,
it would have been a little bit.
He's so not charismatic in
No.
any way. Like he's just like, hey, and I'm kick ass.
Hey, I don't have a job.
Hey guys, I'm not a superhero anymore.
Will Forget starring in
Starring-
Godzilla. Oh
Starring
man, there's a big dinosaur.
Oh man, did you see that thing?
We're so endlessly amused by pretending that
Just
he
the way
does
he says
anything.
things.
Yeah, we need to get him back on here.
We do. Well, he'll be back soon.
Do we have any idea when? Have you heard from him?
No, he doesn't talk to me.
I hear
Like, he
from him
doesn't. Like he just doesn't
very
talk to me for some
sporadically.
reason.
Yeah, I don't hear that much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if he's gonna audit some classes here.
Yeah, maybe he's gonna clean up and take the trash out of these classes. Hang out while he's doing it.
Did I ever tell you at the time when I was sitting with Ben and we were at the student center forever ago, and
The trash can man?
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me about him several times.
So funny.
God, you might as well tell it to the mic.
Yeah, okay. So back when we were in college, we Ben and I, Moose Henderson and I, were sitting in the student lounge, and there's just a guy taking out the trash. So he's like, taking there's the trash cans all around campus, and he'd pour them into his big one. And he grabs one right next to a couch where some guy was just sitting on the couch, and he pours the trash all over this kid who's just on the couch. I never have been able to understand how that happened or why that made. I assume someone gave him $20.
It's one of those great mysteries.
Somebody must have slipped him like $20 and said, "Hey, go pour trash all over that kid."
You'd think that the janitor would be better than that, so not take a bribe. And it's like, geez.
Think of Will was the janitor.
Yeah,
Will would take $20.
Yeah, you totally would.
But the funniest part about it wasn't even that he poured it on. It's that he just starts picking it up. He doesn't start apologizing like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry." He just grabs it.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing is if he makes the mess, he's gonna have to clean it up. He's the janitor.
But
that's like his whole job.
He's literally picking trash off of this poor kid just sitting on the couch.
The poor guy. I wonder if he just didn't see him there or something. He wanted to just dump trash all over
Maybe
the
the
couch.
janitor was just having a stroke or something. And I've been laughing about it for years. I don't know.
So do we want to talk about how to fix Suicide Squad?
Yeah, let's talk about how to. Okay, so where my main idea
Chop it up
behind
even
this
more.
is, so Warner Brothers used to be basically number one in the box office or at least number one, number two.
You see them all over the place before the movies.
They kind of were on top of everything, and then they got rid of the guy who was in charge, named Jeff Rubinov, and replaced him with somebody who had not worked in movies really.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Named Kevin.
Why don't we all just do
Sukihara.
that? Let's just
So they replaced him because this guy says the problem with Warner Brothers is that you guys are not focusing on brands. You're focusing on artists making movies, and that's true to some extent.
That's the worst thing I think I've ever heard. That's awful.
Oh, but that's you
can focus on both.
Well, they were making a lot of money with. They still ran it as a studio. It wasn't like an independent thing where it's just give the artist $200 million. It's a little unfair maybe to claim it that way. But Rubinov was Rubinov, and then before him, Rubinov and Alan Horn used to work together. Alan Horn now runs Disney, who just got Lucasfilm.
Yeah, he got the better deal out of that.
Yeah, and they got rid of him, and then replaced him with Rubinov. And Rubinov was definitely more into he'd let Zack Snyder make something like what was that one, the terrible one with all the women who were Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen in any other studio, but they liked him. They let Christopher Nolan kind of develop his other stuff that he wanted to do.
She did all right.
And there's various other examples. They had good relationship with the artist. Sukihara comes in, and he basically says, "You guys are crazy. What you need to do is look at what Marvel's doing. We need to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
we need a lot of brands and franchises." And Warner Brothers for the last 2 or 3 years has just done terrible. They've had a couple hits.
Well, they just keep trying to copy it. That doesn't work well. People
and
don't like it.
It's not working at all. And the thing with the DC movies now is I think with Man of Steel, they pretty much did let Zack Snyder, because Christopher Nolan was kind of godfathering it.
Yeah.
And so they basically said, okay, do your thing, let's get that $1 billion. They didn't get that $1 billion.
I still think Man of Steel is all right.
I never saw it.
It's not. I really don't think it's terrible. I think it got a lot of flag. I think just because nobody likes Superman movies, but it's I still think it's all right. I
remember hearing things about what their inspiration was and this whole God dilemma and the moral complexities of it all, and just reading about it before any images didn't come out. And then so I was I kind of convinced myself okay, maybe this is going to be actually interesting. Mm-hmm. And then I watched the first teaser trailer. And it was Superman. I was like, oh, wait, no, it's Superman. That's right. I don't like Superman. Why do I think I'm going to like this? So I never saw it. But it did get $1 billion. It didn't really set the critical world on fire. So Warner Brothers kind of decided to have a little bit more of a hands-on approach. So it sounds like with Batman vs. Superman, they really thought it was going to be a lot better than it was in terms of the reception. And then Suicide Squad, my understanding is that they kind of took the movie away from David Ayer and did a lot of different cuts of it, and they had the company that made the trailer that everyone really liked. They gave the whole movie to that company and said, "Jesus, can you make us a copy?" And then what got released, I think, was some sort of combination of a lot of different cuts from.
I heard there are a lot of different versions out there right now of the same movie, but
so they've got their cold feet. But okay, so the big problem I think is that you hire directors like Zack Snyder, you hire directors like David Ayer who have sort of a specific way of making things, and then you don't want them to do that because you want them to toe the company line. And so it's just this weird mess of You do that, but basically you're just making a toy commercial because that's how they want to make movies now. But then you got to hire people that can make a toy commercial because these
they're
aren't
trying so hard to make them not toys at the same time.
Well, it's because they hire people. Like Marvel hires people who really want to make toy commercials.
Mm-hmm. Which that works for.
It works for Marvel.
I mean, you're not going to have someone shooting someone in the face with a gun the way they do in like Suicide Squad in a Marvel movie. What they do? What's his name? The guy with the wings like blows people up with his. Yeah, he does. He like just whips out and starts shooting, blows people up with rockets. I'm like, what the hell happened? Like, yeah.
But it's still it's a very middle of the road movie. It's not going to offend people really that much.
But it still threw me off. I was like, whoa. Like when the first thing he does when he shows up, he shoots a guy. I'm like, can you do that? Like, is that like part of their thing now? Like,
but it wouldn't be the same thing as like Batman killing like 40 people. And
right? It's like
just doesn't care.
Yeah.
But well, no, I guess what it is so they want to have their cake and eat it too, in the sense that they hire people who are a little more visionary.
Okay.
And then they let them do their thing, and then they take over in the edit and say, yeah, but this isn't a toy commercial.
Yeah, didn't Batman vs. Superman get heavily re-edited as well? Yeah. See, I think they just can't commit. I think they have this issue where like they think that they make one thing and it's probably all right. It's probably pretty good, and then they think that everyone wants something else, and they try to mangle it up into what they think everyone wants.
But I think part of the problem is don't give Zack Snyder $250 million to make a 3-hour dark Batman vs. Superman movie, and then tell him. No, we want something closer to 2 hours that's a little lighter for the general audiences. Because then he's just like, why did you do all that?
Throw in the fight with the cave troll at the end. Screw it. It's like,
because I think his biggest concern is he said that he's talked about how he doesn't think 2.5 hours is so long. He gets the 3 hours as a long movie, but he feels that kind of like he was hired to make this 3-hour epic movie.
He does, though.
That's his thing, right?
Yeah, he makes big movies.
Why would you hire him if you don't want that?
Yeah.
So
that makes no sense.
Or then David Ayer, apparently it was like too dark. It wasn't funny enough. Yada yada yada. So change it.
There was nothing funny in the movie.
Okay.
Like I heard one of the main reasons they were doing recuts was to add a little more humor to it. There's no humor. There's literally nothing. I don't think there's anything funny in the whole movie. Like I don't think anyone like chuckled. Everyone just kind of sits there and it's like, oh, okay, that was it. I'm trying to think of any specific moment that I thought was funny. And
that's rough. Okay.
And I thought, I was expecting like dark comedy, people's like shooting each other, slashing swords and whatnot.
Does Will Smith say, "Oh hell no"?
Probably.
Okay.
He says, it's like, whoa, so we're some sort of Suicide Squad at one point, and it's just like,
it's the name of the show.
I know. It's like, oh, title drop, And it's like,
What if Ron Howard narrated Suicide Squad?
I'm trying to think of
like the Bluths.
Like, get them all Arrested Development. That would have been funny. See, if they did it even like a little bit silly, it would have been fun. But like, I don't know, there was nothing fun in it.
There are no Shamali shirts.
Everything that comes out of Marby's mouth is just awful. And it kind of just makes you go, did she really just say that?
I just picture think about the way that Ron Howard narrates the Lindsay Bluth scenes, but for Harley Quinn. Funnier.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't think it's fixable, honestly. I think the movie's just jacked.
Is the problem that you hired just the wrong people to make it in the first place? Then
probably.
Who could?
I don't think they knew what they were making even.
But that's a good concern. Well, okay. So say you run Warner Brothers. First of all, do you make a Suicide Squad movie?
I think it's a good concept. I mean, it should be. It shouldn't have been as bad as it was. Like it's very weird. Like I feel like there's a good concept and a good idea in there somewhere, and they just do it terribly.
So who would you hire?
Ooh, to direct or what?
To everything.
To everything.
Well, maybe not costume design. We don't want the
costume design. Yeah. And stunts, I would like Jackie Chan. Which that would have been fun. I mean, since there is an acrobat who does no acrobatics.
Chris Tucker.
Yeah, Chris Tucker as Ruby Rod, or is that Chris Rock? I don't remember which one that is. I don't know. I get those two mixed up for some reason. They both do like the high pitched voice thing, and it throws me off.
Yeah.
And to direct, I don't know. I think Zack Snyder should have handed the movie to him, especially if it's supposed to be action oriented.
So you would probably picture it more with like a Watchmen type tone though. If Zack Snyder was directing Suicide Squad,
with like the good guys, bad guy, kind of like vague line type thing. I mean, and I don't know. They should have toed that a little bit better.
I have to say, I'm not a huge Zack Snyder fan. I did like the Watchmen movie.
Oh, Watchmen was fantastic.
So I think that's what somehow. Well, because he's very obsessed with this moral ambiguity thing, and I don't think he's that good at dealing with what it.
He can't get it across.
Yeah,
he
but Watchmen, the source material does it well enough that it works for him.
I'm trying to think of a more interesting director we could throw in We talked about Fincher. Throw him in there. Why not?
I think
he
waste
could.
Fincher on
He could
that,
throw.
though.
He could make it a good style though. He'd
He'd be good, but don't waste Fincher. Let Fincher
Don't
make
waste-
his
Wait, is he working on anything right now?
Okay, just came out. Brad Pitt's trying to get him to direct World War Z 2.
Oh no.
So talking about wasting.
Did he
Fincher.
direct World War Z 1?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was like, oh no.
And I don't know why David Fincher is the guy you call for World War Z 2.
What did he have that just came out then?
Fincher was going to make a HBO miniseries starring Rooney Mara and written by Gillian Flynn.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I was so excited
It's
for
like,
it, but
geez.
then budget talks fell apart, and so then it all
Oh.
kind of fell apart, and so now he's looking for a project. My understanding.
Darn.
Yeah, I know.
That's sad.
That sounds so good to me.
I
That's
don't-
like that's
I don't-
all I need from TV.
I know. That's everything we wanted from like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and then Gone Girl, and you smashed it all into the same movie, and then
Yeah. I think like his Gone Girl, like sort of doing those Hitchcockian sort of movies with a contemporary sensibility. He's great at that. I'd much rather see him do something like Gone Girl than World War Z 2.
oh yeah,
Z2 World War United.
World War ZZ.
World War Z. Yeah. So who would be good for a director in this? You'd have to have someone who is fun. I think.
Yeah, I
'Cause
know.
you gotta have fun.
I know. I'm trying to think of someone who'd be good, but I don't think there aren't very many like good like dark action comedy kind of things I can think of off the top of my head.
I don't know.
You know, yeah, it's hard.
It's a tough genre.
Yeah, it's. I don't know why.
pull
I
off.
feel like it should be hard. Like, it shouldn't be that hard, but
What's a good dark comedy, just in general?
like, In Bruges.
But I wouldn't give.
No,
him
yeah,
that.
no, I don't think he'd be able to-
It's, like big scale. Clearly,
He could write the jokes or something. I mean, I feel like he could just do like the silly crap that happens in between. But I mean, that'd be alright. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know who you hire for this.
Hmm.
You know who I think DC should hire though is Gore Verbinski. He
Who's
made
that?
Pirates of the Caribbean 1, 2,
Oh
and 3.
yeah, see there we go.
He's
Let him go full rated R. Why not?
Gore Verbinski's one of the few directors I think even if you throw him a terrible script, he makes a watchable movie.
Okay.
Like Pirates 3 would have been a middle script read.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty watchable movie. I think.
It's alright. I don't know. I got bored of the last two.
Oh yeah, it doesn't need to be
but
so
it's-
long and
yeah.
everything. But if you just watch it purely for like his direction, I'm totally on board with that.
Mhm.
Even that Lone Ranger movie that came out.
I heard that was okay. It's just that it
There's-
got panned by critics because it wasn't great. You know
I think
what
it's a
mean?
terrible
like-
script, but he
Yeah.
gives it his all,
Okay.
and it's just I can watch it, and I'm like okay, well because the thing is that more and more I find myself like it's like I'm watching Civil War, and I'm just like I don't even want to sit through this. Gore Verbinski, I'm like yeah this is bad, but oh my gosh it's so watchable.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine.
He
I
can
don't
make it,
mind
he can make
sitting
it
through
fun at the very
Yeah.
least. You know, yeah.
So I don't know how he would do with the super dark sort of stuff, but he's a much more talented guy. I think to kind of he can work in the studio system where you don't need a great script.
What else has David Ayer done? I can't think of anything off the
He
top of my
did.
head.
What's that one? He just had one out. I can't remember last. It was the Brad Pitt tank movie.
Fury? Rage?
Fury. I think that's it. And I think he like wrote Training Day or something.
I don't know. None of those are particularly interesting to me, I guess. SWAT.
End of Watch.
End of Watch was the one. Okay, that's the one. I knew there was one.
Sabotage.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Next film.
He's set to direct a contemporary cop thriller, but with fantastical elements called
Jeez.
Bright.
Interesting.
So I don't know.
I'm trying to think of any better like actress replacements. Obviously, just get Jared Leto out of there.
Who'd you cast as Joker?
Obviously, we talked about this.
We were talking- yeah, segue.
Jesse Eisenberg. Why not? I think he'd be a better. I don't know. I do like having him as Lex Luthor though. I feel like he's a good Lex. I feel like he just makes. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun having Jesse Eisenberg as a villain.
You
Like,
know,
I feel like
yeah,
he's
we-
always like the nice guy, so it's fun watching him be a little villainous. You know, and it's like,
We
ooh.
need to get it out there that everybody hates Jesse Eisenberg in Batman vs Superman. I enjoyed his Batman Forever character.
I thought he.
Whatever it was,
I think he tied it together a little bit better than some of the other ones. Like, I
He
think
was having fun.
Yeah.
He was enjoying himself.
He
on
knew
set.
he was on set of a
Yeah.
superhero movie.
Yes.
You know, and it's, yeah.
That's the scenes with him and Holly Hunter when she's coming in and talking about prosecuting him and stuff.
Mhm.
I thought those were great scenes.
Yeah. But, like-
I enjoyed those.
Mm.
I have to say. So I don't know, but Jesse Eisenberg is. I think he's better when he's allowed to be more nerdy, and Lex Luthor does lend himself to
Yeah.
that a little bit more. So I don't know.
Who else? They just need a whole new villain in general.
The villains, they can't figure out villains in these movies.
The one thing I can give them props for is they managed to keep the villain hidden until the movie came out.
Is it just because no one cares then?
Yeah, well, and it's because she's
Yeah.
not even like in the movie that much. Like she shows up at like the beginning and the end, and then the
Yeah.
rest is just like them shooting faceless bad guys because that's the only option now. Is faceless enemies.
I'm fed up with all this. I can't even handle it anymore. feel like this has gotten too ranty now. We need to bring up the tone.
I'm just upset.
I'm too upset about things.
I didn't pay for the movie, so I feel better about it. Yeah, it's like
silver lining.
Yeah.
I got nothing else I even wanted to talk about. So, should we do a couple Vice headline generators?
Oh yeah, sure. Let's see what we got. Let's see if we can spur our creative juices.
Well, or just end things.
Oh yeah. I don't even know what that word means.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip that 'cause I don't know what the word is. Why Timbuktu's most contemporary band have already gigged at next year's Glastonbury?
This is the timeline of that sentence is so confusing. Whoa!
I don't know what these words.
Hoofing Rufinol with Hugo Chavez.
I began life as a psychologist in Jerusalem, and there was no Morgan Freeman.
I like how it's like, and there was no. Like, whoa!
Yeah, some of these are. I don't know. I think we might have.
We burnt out the entertainment factor.
So we can't find a way to become.
Darn.
We need something funny.
We're losing. We're losing our. I don't know, our edge.
Losing our edge. Well, I think Vice. We got used to it. We figured out what the formula was. How about this? Let me just go to Vice.com.
The fake Vice articles can't sustain
Yeah,
us anymore.
because the real ones are
Tagging up Taipei. There we go.
why you should actually look forward to being alone forever.
Okay.
That's Vice one.
I like that one. The skater's getting paid to hang out with Lil Wayne. That sounds like a terrible life.
Talking weed entrepreneurship with a side of raw vegan edibles.
Jeez.
So these are better. They're real. I think
more real.
Meet the Canadians who get naked for rent money.
So like,
it is a picture of an out of shape man.
Yeah. What is it? So what? They're strippers? I mean, that's not that like fantastic. I mean, that's like a normal thing.
We're so out of.
I mean, yeah,
this is just ridiculous.
It's bad.
So
well, I think we've gone over time though. If anything, I haven't even looked at where.
I don't know. Let's consider that it. So, I think Mike Birbiglia's new movie comes out on Friday.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Don't think twice. So let's go see that.
Okay.
We'll talk about that next week.
Definitely.
Don't forget, check out Jim Fields' movie,
Jim
Flyover
Fields.
Country, if you're interested in looking at a little independent movie.
From Omaha.
Omaha, filmed in Omaha.
Shot in downtown a little bit.
There's a little part right outside Full Streams.
Yeah. That's like a weird like Filmception type thing going on.
Filmception,
Go watch it at film streams and like they're filming outside. You gotta go.
We need to get film streams in some movie. Oh, and we got some Green on Green pre-production stuff to do. Some Naomi Jones
we got
post-production
some work to do. I have a lot of work to do.
We all have a lot of work to do. So much work. So we're going to leave it at that then. And enjoy your week. We'll be back with Michael Bigley Talk next week.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's it.
That's about it. This has been the Vegetable Lasagna.
This has been the Vegetable Lasagna. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much and have a good